Last year I dressed as TV head. This year I dressed as Gumball. I want to show you along the process of how I made this Gumball head mask and costume. So onto materials. For the head I used a cardboard box. Thankfully I found a large cardboard box while I was on the road. So onto drawing his face. I wasn't sure to draw Gumball from his earlier seasons or from his later seasons. I went to with the later seasons since his eyes are a bit easier to sketch out since they're perfectly circled. I use a bowl to trace it out, and for pupils, I use one of my little brother's toys. I draw his mouth closed, then I realized I need to see through their mask, so I drew his mouth opened, which I think came out better in the end. After that, I cut it out with scissors, and I used a xacto knife to cut out his mouth. For the back of his head, I traced out the front of his face onto another piece of cardboard so it'd be exactly the same. After cutting it out, I knew I needed to connect together both the front and back. So for that, I got a long piece of cardboard and make sure it was 12 inches wide so it'd be wide enough to fit my head. If you're making a mask for yourself, I would suggest measuring your head if 12 inches is either too wide or too narrow for your head. And before I glued the cardboard onto the side of the face, I knew how to tenderize the cardboard. And what I mean by this, folded the cardboard on both sides so it could get more bendable or foldable. So it'd be easier to glue it on the sides of the head. After that, I glued the cardboard to the side of the face. And I was trying to bend the cardboard in the corner of his face, but I knew it was too difficult, so I just cut it out, added some paper to make sure those two parts connect. After finishing covering the whole head, I make sure to leave an opening in the bottom of the head so I could fit my head in. After finishing that, this is optional, but I decided to get some cardstock or paper and just cover those places I cut the cardboard through with paper so I have a smoother finish. And I forgot this part, but if you're doing this, make sure to paint those spots. I should have painted blue, but I totally forgot. When I finished this part, it was fine onto the helmet. And for the inside, I knew I want the mask to not sink in my head, so I hot glued a bunch of empty boxes and cardboard rolls along with a McDonald's Happy Meal bucket for it to be the helmet in my head. I don't know how I figured it out, but it worked. Although it did hurt my head a bit while I was walking with it, I know next time to ask a memory phone. So if you guys are doing it, make sure you have memory phones so it's more comfortable. After I did the inside, I hot glued the back piece onto the whole head. So from there I went to painting. But before I started painting, I make sure to get a piece of tracing paper and trace out the face I had on the cardboard so I can remember what his face would be, and also use the same tracing paper to make cardboard cutouts of both his eyes and mouth so it has a 3D effect. From there, I covered the whole head with white paper. I knew with cardboard, you need more amount of layers of paint to fully cover it. I make sure to cover his face with white paper so I have like a easier canvas to work on with painting it. By the way, the color paint I used was Korean blue. At first I thought it wasn't close enough to his fur color, but after painting it, I think it looks pretty much similar. So for these ears, I just got some of the leftover large cardboard box I had and cut a little triangles to look similar to his ears. I make sure to make a double of each triangle I had. I could just hot glue the triangle on the head just like that, but since I wanted to be 3D, I did the same thing I did with the head to the ears. After doing that, I hot glued the ears into the head. As you can tell with the details of the ears, I didn't hot glue it right, so I had to use many pieces of paper to make the ears stay on the head. After painting the ears blue, for his eyes, I knew that I wanted the eyes to pop out a little bit, so I got a cereal box, traced it with the same bowl and cut it out, painted it white, and hot glued it on the face. I did the same thing with pieces of his mouth and teeth and tongue. And on the opening of mouth, I knew you could see my eyes through, so I used a piece of old black leggings, cut out a piece of it, and hot glue it inside to the edges of the mouth. Although I couldn't see much through, it still worked fine, even though I hit a lot of places. After that, my head was complete. But until my favorite part, in the least amount of time I had on, was his clothes. For his clothes, I got a random beige shirt I found in Walmart. There were many options there. Luckily, beige is a very popular color. But out of all of them, I picked this one since I felt it was most similar to his actual design. The cuffs and his collar is brown, so I mixed some fabric softener and acrylic brown paint together to make some sort of fabric paint and just paint it onto his cuffs and collar of the crew neck. For his pants, thankfully I have a pair of gray pants in my closet to use. For his hands and feet, I was thinking of buying mittens, but since I couldn't find a blue mittens in the store, I just cut up the cuffs on my blue sweater I had and just used those. It wasn't the same color as the head, but since it was last minute, I didn't care. And for his tail, I was thinking of making a cardboard cutout of his tail and painting it blue, but again, I didn't have enough time, so I just skipped it. And before you guys forget, I did have an idea of making Darwin, like a little plushie or like even a bucket to use while I was walking around trick-or-treating, but I didn't have enough time, so I just got one of my little brother's fish bowls toys and drew out a little Darwin literally last minute, and just taped it on the bowl and just trick-or-treated with it. Even though I don't have the Darwin bucket I had in mind, I did carve Darwin on a pumpkin. You can see here. I think it came out adorable. Well, Darwin is adorable. Well, that's my costume. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Luckily while trick-or-treating, a lot of people recognize it. Kids, teens, adults. I'm so glad people could recognize them, to be honest. I wasn't sure how it would come out. As you can tell, the painting on the cuffs and collar of my sweatshirt wasn't perfect. I think altogether with the head and outfit, I think it looked pretty good. But I'm glad a lot of people enjoyed it. I hope this video helped somebody. Whether you're making a Gumball mask or any other mask, hope you know that it doesn't matter how it turns out. It may not be perfect, but no matter effort you put in there, I'm pretty sure someone will recognize and see it. If you guys ever have time to make a Gumball head mask or any other mask, if you can tag me or something, I would love to see them. Hope this video helped you in some way, whether you're making masks or getting inspiration. Well, that's all. Thanks for watching. Have an amazing day.